This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. Because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by the National Rifle Association. From the CZ Studios.
They're never going to stop us here.
Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
Let's get started on a Friday. Greg in Dallas, Texas, how you doing? Today's your day, brother. We made it.
Yeah, it is. TGIF.
TGIF. You made it. I don't mind. Doesn't matter to me. I don't even know what day it is sometimes, but that's okay. Yeah, CZ Studios lit up for you, ladies and gentlemen. National Rifle Association presenting this discussion today, as always, every day, 6 days a week, here in the Patriot Mobile Communication and Command Center in front of the Patriot Mobile mic. I am Mark Walters, filling your prescription for freedom today and every day. We are live on all platforms out there today for you on video, including Facebook.com/Armed American Radio, Facebook.com/Armed American Radio. Greg, you can do your shtick there. Tell everybody where else to watch and participate in our chat room. And we'll get started with Paul Markel, student of the gun. I'm garbling today. We'll figure it out.
That happens. It's Friday. It's been a long week. If you want to watch the show, you can also head on over to YouTube and Rumble and just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. Over on X, we're at AAR Mark. You can also head over to armedamericanradio.org or .com. Hit that menu icon and then select your watch live or listen live options. To join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Paul Markel, student of the gun. Welcome in. Thanks for that, Greg, by the way. Paul, how you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm just doing fantastic.
I'm just dandy.
This morning, and I fought against gravity. The sun's shining, but it's not that hot. It's a good day.
Greg jumped in my face over here a couple seconds ago. He says, I'm doing just dandy. Derp, 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 derp. What's the temperature out there in Wyoming this time of year?
Oh, I think right now it's been hot. It's been in the 90s, but I think it's only like 84 right now.
Okay. Yeah, it gets hot.
So
It's hot out here today, too. Excuse me. But it always is. My sinus has been a wreck. My kid had a cold. I don't think I got it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm fighting it and don't even know it.
Yeah, if your kid had a cold, you probably got one coming.
Yeah. I haven't had a
You
good
need me
one.
to host on Sunday?
No one's ever hosted my Sunday show ever in 17 years, and no one ever will, and that's not an affront to you. That's just a commitment I've made to myself. We've gotten a fresh show every Sunday for 17 straight years. We'll keep it that way. Now, we'll talk about the Daily Show sometime, maybe, yeah. So, Paul, interesting stuff. There's 3 or 4 interesting stories out there today. One of them is D.C. I don't know if you saw this. It's kind of slipped under the radar a little bit. But, you know, Trump has federalized D.C. because crime is running rampant. And he said enough is enough. But did you see what they've did with gun permits?
No.
Okay, now the permit process in Washington to get a CCW to carry a firearm is draconian, to say the least. However, it does exist, and people do have them. You just have to jump through a bunch of hoops. But Trump's big, beautiful, making D.C. safe and beautiful task force has now begun working with local officials to eliminate the permitting obstacles. What used to take a minimum of 4 months is now 4 days. So Washington, D.C. residents, although you have to jump through the hoops, your permit comes in 4 days now. So Trump has made a lot of great strides. I hate the fact that D.C. residents have to go through the process they have to go through. We'll talk about that in a second.
Well, they shouldn't be living there anyway.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
okay. There's always that. We can argue that.
I mean, we could go there. These psychotic. Let's just go ahead and set the table. These psychotic, lunatic liberals that have absolutely no idea. They're like, Trump is federalizing D.C. and it's a takeover, and this is what he's going to do to Los Angeles. Like, blah, 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 blah. Did you ever read the charter for the District of Columbia?
Yeah, in fact, I have.
The District of Columbia is already federalized.
That's right. Yep.
They're like, oh, it's federalized. Say, okay, so what else would it be? Which state? There, Michael Rappaport or Cynthia Nixon or any other psychotic liberal lunatic. Explain to me which state oversees the District of Columbia. Well, none of them do.
Yeah.
Well, why is that? because way back when, our founders are like, well, we can't put the nation's capital into one of the states because that state will get preferential treatment. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to buy up some swampland in Northern Virginia, and we're going to create the District of Columbia so that the capital is not in any one particular state. It's already federalized.
Has been from day one. Trump wants to name it
Since
District of America, which I like.
very beginning.
I like District of America. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Trump's already talked about that. Now, Trump is also meeting with Putin right now, and the lefties are going nuts and haywire. Chris Murphy, anti-gunner rabbit up in Connecticut, going absolutely crazy. I mean, you know, the guy comes out every day with his posts, and I mean, he just thinks he's right about everything. Nothing's going to age well for those folks, but nonetheless, there's a lot happening today. But yeah, he has floated that. I kind of like that idea. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Washington, D.C. You want to tell me what's wrong with what Trump's doing? Cleaning up the city? You want to tell me what's wrong with that?
Oh, my Lord. It's insane. These people, like, I don't know if they think that they come off well to the rest of America.
They think they do.
Did you watch the video clip of the DEI? You know, the woke DEI did
Police
not
chief?
earn it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Police chief.
Yeah.
When they asked her what is the current chain of command?
She said, "What does that mean?"
What does that mean?
You know, that did
What?
that didn't go over well. And yeah, that's exactly what she is. She's a DEI hire, and
The best and the brightest.
Bowser.
Oh yeah.
In D.C., I actually kind of feel sorry for the mayor in D.C. She is
Not me, brother.
You know,
but you
I
go
kind
ahead
of
and feel
do.
sorry for her.
I kind of do, not for the reasons that you might think. I feel sorry for her because she's such a sad, pathetic person, and doesn't know how to meander through the maze of what is Donald Trump. These people just don't know how to handle the guy. He comes rolling into town like a badass. And he is boss. And they just don't know what to do with him. I actually kind of feel bad for her when I see her up in front of the camera. But, you know, hey, a politician, that's what she does. They shouldn't exist
She's
anyway.
a criminal.
They shouldn't exist anyway. The D.C. Council, the whole thing needs to be overhauled. They've been letting criminals off the hook for years. And it gets really, really bad if you go down the rabbit holes and dig deep into it. If you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, you can pretty much get away with anything you want in Washington, D.C. And Trump has come in, he's put his foot down, and he said, that's it. We're done. And boy, when he said he was going to start immediately, he meant it.
Oh, they're just, Mark, they're not criminals. They're just homeless people.
Have you seen what they've done
They're
with the
just
homeless encampments
homeless
over the last 2
people.
days? They're bulldozing them out. They're gone. You know, look, when was the last time you were in Washington, D.C.?
Oh, about 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while for me, too. It's been about, I guess it's probably been 15 years as well. And that was it has been. It was 2010. I'm trying to think if I'd been there since then for the Second Amendment rally, the first inaugural Second Amendment rally that never had another one. So the first and only in that respect. But, you know, I've never felt really safe in Washington, D.C.
That's a cesspool.
Yeah, it's a rough
The only
town.
place you're safe is if you go into the place where the elitists hang out.
And that's not even
Like,
safe.
Yeah, well, you know, it's like these, like, what's that scumbag Schumer? Well, I feel perfectly safe walking around D.C. First of all, when is the last time you walked around D.C.?
Mm-hmm. And when was the last
gonna
time
go
you
ahead
did it
and
without
call-
Capitol security as well? So
Without your bodyguard
Right.
corps.
yeah,
Oh no, he doesn't have armed security paid for by the taxpayer. Sure, he doesn't. Yeah, okay.
he does, because anywhere he
Yeah.
goes, he stays within that confine, within that little bubble you're talking about.
Oh yeah,
And when he
stays
does
in-
that,
in
he's
the-
got
in the-
Capitol Police protection. So he's
the parts that they surrounded with barbed wire and chain link fence during the rule of the meat puppet. Those parts, you know, where the important people
30.
are.
Yeah, we got 30 seconds. I'll take it to the break with this. It's interesting to me, ladies and gentlemen. You probably feel the same way. as a listener of Armed American Radio, just as a conservative American. But Chuck Schumer's made it clear that he and the Democrats are not getting behind, period, the cleanup of Washington, D.C. The state of the city, the homeless encampments, the graffiti everywhere, the carjackings, the crime, the beatings, the armed robbery. I guess that's okay with them. Status quo. You have to ask yourself this question. Why won't the Democrats support keeping you safe in the Capitol that you pay for? It is remarkable what this party has done to itself. And they think they're going to win another election. Keep Chris Murphy up on Twitter every day. It's beautiful to see, and it's great content. We'll be back with Paul right away.
Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show.
You can do that, patriotmobile.com. This is a Patriot Mobile phone activated right here, patriotmobile.com/AAR, and you get a free month at patriotmobile.com. It's simple to do. If you owe money on the phones, they give you up to a $500 credit per phone. So if you have 4 phones, it's $2,000 credit. You're not going to pay a cell phone bill for a long time. So take advantage of that and give your money to a company that supports your gun rights and supports Armed American Radio. patriotmobile.com/AAR. Back live with you here in the CZ studios, all brought to you by the National Rifle Association at the Patriot Mobile Command Center and microphone. Paul Markel, student of the gun, welcome back. Let's go back to D.C. for just a second. Then I want to talk about something Rogan said on his podcast. I want to take him to task on it because I vehemently disagree with him. We'll go there in just a second. Washington, D.C., now dropping the permit time from 4 months to, and I said 4 days, it's 5 days. Woo. But it's a lot better. It's a lot better than the 4 months it was. Now, quoting from this Fox piece, Washington, D.C. has some of the most strict gun laws in the nation, including requiring permitted concealed carry holders to reapply for their licenses every 2 years, a ban on most semi-automatic rifles, and ammunition restrictions that ban an individual from possessing ammo for a firearm not registered with the Metropolitan Police Department. The district also has an extensive list of gun-free zones, including public memorials on the National Mall. That's pretty much everywhere, folks. Public transportation, government buildings, schools and colleges, hospitals and medical offices, stadiums, and anywhere alcohol is sold. That pretty much bans you from carrying a firearm everywhere in D.C. If you've ever been to Washington, D.C., I haven't been there in a while, but I've been there many, many, many times. Paul, it's a joke, but I guess it's getting better, as much as I hate to lean into that, right?
Well, all those gun restrictions have kept D.C. safe.
Correct.
And,
yeah, well, that's why we're going to go there.
Crime-free. Crime-free, right? Just like, is there nobody in the room to stand up and raise their hand and say, how is it with all these wonderful restrictions and all these restrictions on people who are willing to obey the law have not done anything to curtail the behavior of those who aren't willing to behave? I don't get it. I don't understand. How can that be?
Because it's not about that. You know that. That's not what it's about. It's about Washington, D.C. being able to control you. Now, as far as the restrictions on where you can't carry, if you've never been to Washington, D.C., folks, what I just mentioned to you is pretty much everywhere in Washington. Because you're going to want to go to the Treasury and see your money being printed. Now, that's pretty cool. I've seen that. That's your mouth waters when you walk in there. The smell of the money is incredible. It's great. It's neat to see that stuff. Can't carry in there. Can't carry in any of the museums, Smithsonian's. Can't carry on the mall because all the memorials. Want to go see the Lincoln Memorial? No, can't carry your gun there. Want to go see the Vietnam Memorial? Can't carry your gun there. Want to go see the World War II Memorial? Can't carry your gun there. Want to go see the Washington Monument? Can't carry your gun there. Want to tour the White House? Sure can't carry your gun there. So I guess you can have it with you as a carjacking defense till you get to your hotel. And it better be registered, Paul, if you have a permit, because it has to be registered, right? So this is evidence of how the registration schemes work. It's how the government controls it. Now, one of the things I wondered when I first saw the story, which again kind of snuck under the radar, was will there be some form of out-of-state resident? That's Washington, D.C. I pay for that city. It's very unique. How come I can't carry a gun in Washington, D.C. as a Georgia resident? Do you think there will ever be a change there at all? The Democrats will fight it like crazy.
Well, then the Democrats don't like what Trump's doing because Democrats, let's be honest. They love crime. Democrats love crime. They love murder. They love terrorism. They love all of it because it gives them an excuse to control the people. It gives them an excuse to steal more money. It gives them, every bill that's written and signed has a price tag, has a multi-million or a multi-billion-dollar price tag. Laws aren't free. People are like, oh, it's a law. And they'd be like, no. No, where's the receipt? Because every time they go into that house and they vote for something, we get the bill. We get a multi-billion-dollar bill, or at least hundreds of millions of dollars. Because those laws don't enforce themselves, right? Oh, and then there's all those programs that they attach to them. We gotta spend all this money. Well, so they're never going to say, hey, it'd be a great idea. It'd be a great idea to they give lip service to it when it's necessary. When it's necessary, they give lip service.
All right,
to it.
hold on. Let's talk about lip service from the Democrats. When I closed out the last segment, went to the break, I mentioned Schumer in particular and specifically because he has made it very clear, and he did it in an expletive-laden way. He dropped a few F-bombs. Excuse me. When asked.
He's trying to look tough.
Yeah, when asked if he would extend Donald Trump's federalization of the D.C. police force and the crime, everything that they're doing in D.C. right now, for another 30 days, and he dropped the F-bomb. F no. That'll never happen. Congress isn't going to approve it. What is it? I mean, look, they're not even trying to hide the fact. They're not even double speaking. They're not even attempting to come off as wanting to be tough on crime. In fact, just the opposite, as you just mentioned, which is why I wanted to bring that up, because it does beg the question, why? And I asked what happened to the party. Why? What has happened to these people?
I think they believe that they own enough media that the media is just going to cover for them. They like this. Everything you see that comes from the media is not about criminals in D.C. It's about how the poor, downtrodden, homeless people are being displaced. Mm-hmm. Why are there homeless people in the District of Columbia? Why is anyone in the District of Columbia that isn't involved in the federal government? I'll tell you why. People flock to the District of Columbia because that's where the big teat is. So they can suckle at the teat of government so that they can get on the dole, so they can get some of that money. Okay, D.C. is not supposed to be the size of New York City. It never was designed to be like that. It's actually supposed to be a part-time city where people go home and leave in the summer and so forth when sessions are out. But instead, it's this thriving cesspool of leeches and parasites who are all there trying to suckle at the teat of the federal government to try and get their share of the graft and the grift and the fraud and the corruption.
Paul,
DC should be reduced to a town of 50,000 people.
What party has controlled local government in D.C. forever?
The Democrat Party.
30.
See, all of this, well, I'll take us to the break with this. All of this is becoming very evident, more evident than before, ladies and gentlemen, under a second Trump administration. We are literally bearing witness to and I don't know how they missed it in the first place, but millions of Americans who are now seeing what is happening in Chicago, what is happening in, I can name them individually, let's just say every major Democrat-run city across this country. It is the Democrat Party destroying every single what used to be beautiful American city. And people are aware of that. Immigration next when we come back. Just a few words on that, and then we'll tackle a couple other issues. We've got Paul Markel, student of the gun, for 2 more segments. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Yeah,
brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show.
You know, you can help us take a huge step in fixing some of these problems that we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, like Washington, D.C. in 4 months in registration. National Rifle Association is at the forefront of that. This is a new organization. I talk about them every day. They present the show to you every day. And that right there speaks volumes of how the NRA is desperately wanting to reach you. So help us. It's real simple and it's inexpensive. It's $35 for an annual membership. And as I've said before, and maybe they don't like me saying this, but I just want to make it clear to you that if you don't want to give any additional money, that's okay. That's okay. I would hope that you would and support the organization, but you can support them by simply joining. It's pretty much that simple. And it's easy to do. You can visit armedamericanradio.com or .org and click on the NRA link, or you can go to nra.org/AAR. And I'm going to send you the range bag. If you sign up for a 1-year or 3-year membership, the range bag will cover your $35 right there. If you go for the 5-year or the life membership, we're going to send you the binoculars, 10x42, super high quality with the case. So pick your poison and join us. We need to elevate these numbers, and we're in the process of doing that. We're thrilled with the response. And when the bags are all gone, and we've been allocated a few hundred more, so it's going to be a while, but once the bags are all gone, one of you who did sign up using that promo code is going to be a grand prize winner of a second bag, a different bag, loaded with different swag from all of our great partners at Armed American Radio. So jump in on that, won't you please, and help us out. The NRA is doing all the right things the right way with the right people. And that's nra.org/AAR. Welcome back to the studios with me, Paul Markel, on a Friday. 2 more segments with you. I do want to talk with you briefly about something that Joe Rogan said on his podcast recently. A couple news outlets have reported it. I've got the Fox piece up. It went into a little bit more depth than some of the other ones. But I'll read you the headline. Rogan says voters are frustrated because they expected Trump's ICE raids to nab gang members, not landscapers. Now, I don't know who Rogan is talking to, okay? But every single poll I've seen is in 70 to 80% plus in disagreement with that statement. Now, maybe, I guess voters, if there's 10% or 20% out there that might be frustrated, those are the people that voted for Kamala Harris to continue an open border process, a policy. Those are the people that voted for DEI. Those are the people that voted for wokeness. Those are the people that voted for no crime control. Those are the goofballs that don't matter anyway. Those are the Democrats who are on the wrong side of every single issue. So I don't know where he's getting those numbers, because everything I've seen is just the opposite of that. And that's in polls, not just what I'm hearing in my own little bubble in my own little life, but across the spectrum. In talking to Democrats, lots of people are thrilled by what he's doing, and that is, in fact, what we voted for. And, you know, are you going to get an occasional person caught up in it? Yeah, guess what? And I had to make this mention as well, too. You know, he said that they're nailing landscapers. Has it ever occurred to him that maybe a landscaper's a gangbanger, too? I mean, I don't know, right? And I'll quote him. That's what freaks people out, because when people thought about ICE, they thought, great, we're going to get rid of the gang members. They didn't think, great, you're going to get rid of the landscaper. Well, the landscaper might be a gangbanger, but the administration in Homan has made very, very clear that they are going after violent criminals. That's simple. If you happen to be there and get caught up in that, and you're here illegally, you're likely going to be deported, as you should. You're not here legally. I just want to get your perspective on that, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, we're living in crazy world here. We're so weak and spineless as a nation. We're like, well, is there a problem? Well, yeah, there's a problem. Okay, well, someone is going to be the adult. The Democrats will never be the adults and step up and deal with the problem. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always someone else needs to do something or whatever. And when you step up and when you become the adult and make the adult decisions, often the adult decisions are not popular. But the fact of the matter is, it is the Democrat Party that created this mess. And now that someone's trying to clean it up, we have the weak people that are supposed to be, quote, on our side who, well, I mean, I want him to do something, but I don't want him to do that. Okay, what do you want him to do? Well, well, but be nicer about it, or like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. And all these people are like, well, what are they supposed to do? Come here legally? Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they're supposed to do.
You know, it was somebody. I'm glad you mentioned that. Somebody put a tweet out. Yeah, I put a response out to that earlier today, and it's already close to or over 1,000 views already in my response. And it's funny to read some of the leftist response to mine. Let me see if I can find this if I have it pulled up. Yeah, here's one. You effing clown. They're getting more than just illegals. They're arresting people with their papers. Okay? Actually, they're not. So, you know, these are people that just, they read and regurgitate the left-wing talking point, period. But if you ask for proof of that, they can't. You know, other people are
they
like,
were told,
well, you know.
They were told by MSNBC and Rachel Maddow that American citizens are being deported.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you know, look, if you're here illegally, I saw a response on another tweet yesterday about this very issue, and I wish if I could remember exactly what it was, the response, but he took a lot of flack for it, for illegals, and he said, actually, here's what it was in a nutshell. I'm trying to remember back in my head in real time on a live mic. But it said, actually, this country was founded by illegal immigrants, right? Question mark, question mark, question mark. No, it was not founded by illegal immigrants. Good heavens. Yeah, go ahead, Paul, tackle that one.
Well, I mean, you know, the level of historical ignorance right there is
that was a lot in the response. You better go back to school.
Yeah, you know, it's like, no, they had charters. You know, back when this country was run by the Kingdom of Great Britain, people had charters to come here. They had papers. They were granted land. They're like, here, you go there and you work the land, blah, 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 blah. And then we don't want to talk about the treaty of Hidalgo Garcia or whatever, the one that ended the Mexican-American War, where the Mexicans, they signed a treaty and they accepted a check. They accepted payment for California and Arizona and New Mexico. It's not stolen land.
Oh, no,
moron.
We stole it.
We paid for it, you know. And I mean, we could go back, you know, we trace your ancestors all the way back to as far as you want to go. You know, maybe some of us need to go back to the Middle East or you know, to old Europe and claim that that's our birthright because our ancestors were born there and that's our property now. It's like, come on. But this idea that we should expect people to follow the law, that's just too much.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
You can't expect people to follow the law. You can't expect them to go to it's like Holman said, but for the idiots in Congress, he goes, we have a process. It's called a port of entry. You go there and you present yourself and state your case, and we decide whether or not you can come into the country. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's how my grandfather got in from Italy.
Yeah.
Was through Ellis Island. We have his paperwork,
through the front door, not the back door. Right?
It's a remarkable response.
Your ancestors were immigrants too. Yeah, my ancestors all came through the front door.
Mm-hmm. Stood in line. They didn't come through
the back door.
Got off a boat.
You know?
Stood in line. Went through a process. Resettled. Assimilated as best they could.
And were
coming
not
from the
given
old world.
A single penny of the taxpayers' money when they arrived. They weren't given debit cards and free phones and put up in hotels. No, they had to work. That's why Germans and Irish and Scottish and Italians, that's why they formed their own neighborhoods and communities, because that's how they supported the immigrants, was through community, not through government handout.
Yeah, and it's interesting.
You know what?
Well, hold that thought. We're going to a break, but I'll end it with this. But when my grandfather came here, somehow he wound up in Ohio, where he began a company that is still in business to this day, Lucenti and Sons Contractors. That's my grandfather, my mom's dad. Yeah, they did it the right way, and guess what? Mom stayed in Italy until he settled here. It's done the right way. We'll be right back.
This segment is brought to you by Attorneys on Retainer. Get the only self-defense program for gun owners backed by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here I go again. This is my Attorneys on Retainer card. Yesterday, I laid it out. Okay, there are mysteries in life. One of them that mystifies me is why you would carry a gun and not have a lawyer in your back pocket when you can for $35 a month. Now, I understand if this didn't exist, and I've lost count how many chat rooms I've been in over the last 15 to 20 years, and you hear people talk about and see people writing all these things. Should I have an attorney on retainer? Well, a lot of people don't even know what that means, okay? But you're going to put a lot of money up front. You're going to have an attorney there. They're going to dip into that to get started. It's not necessary. It's $35 a month. No brainer stuff here. Okay? If you carry a gun, you've made the decision to do that. You know bad things can happen. You expect you might have to defend against it. You are prepared. It likely won't. But if it does, this is going to save the day. And that day, by the way, will wind up being the worst day of your life. I don't care how clean it was. If there's an investigation, which there will be, no matter the circumstances, there's going to be an investigation. They're here during the investigative process to help keep you from getting charged. If you do get charged, worst day of your life, second worst day of your life, ever. Attorneys on Retainer is going to fix that for you because you have an attorney on retainer literally from day one. It is $35. And if you multiply that out, I've been saying this a lot, and I'm going to continue to pound it in. An average hourly fee for a great attorney is more than the annual cost of having them in your pocket. Don't be dumb. It's attorneysonretainer.us/AAR. You'll get $50 off the $100, and you pay $35 a month from that point forward. Make sure to do that. Take advantage of that amazing program and have a team of attorneys underneath your belt the moment, right, is riding right there with your handgun, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? You can visit them at armedamericanradio.com and all of our great partners. You can start stacking ammo at Ammo Square, get your emergency supplies at heavensharvest.com. All of them right there. Crossbreed holsters, car arms, CZ, more to come, I can promise you. armedamericanradio.com for everything you need, including Bud's Gun Shop, our exclusive online retailer. They have everything you want, and you want and need everything that they have. Visit them, budsgunshop.com. Paul Markel, student of the gun, welcome back, my brother. So, where were we on that? I got wrapped up talking.
We're talking about. I wanted to say one thing. The idea. Have you traveled to other countries?
I have. It's been a while, but I have.
I'll say, I have too. I've traveled to countries in Europe. I've traveled to countries in Asia. I've traveled to countries in the Caribbean and so forth.
Likewise.
And every country I've gone to, I had to go through an immigrations line, and they asked me questions. They wanted to know where I was planning to stay, what my business was. I've actually had them ask me how much money I had on my person at that moment. And of course, it depends. But so, and if you ask these left-wing liberal scumbags, is it okay for the Cayman Islands to question you and make you show ID? And of course, you've got to show ID, and you have to tell them where you're going to be, where you're going to stay, why you're there, and so on and so forth, how long you're planning to stay. Why is it okay for every other country in the world to have rules about who can come in, when they can come in, and where they can go, but the United States can't? If we have rules and we enforce those rules, we're somehow evil, and we're hurting people. And I love how we're violating their rights. How does a Guatemalan citizen have the rights of a United States citizen, or a Somali, or fill in the blank? Well, does the U.S. Constitution guarantee rights to the citizens of Somalia?
No. And unless they come here legally and lawfully. And I have nothing against those people. I have friends from Guatemala. I have friends from El Salvador. I have tons of friends from Mexico. Okay, they're all great people. They're good friends. They're all here legally. They all came here legally.
Yeah.
I married a woman from a foreign country, from Sweden. Oh, people are going to go, oh, look at you. Blonde hair, blue-eyed. Yeah, she was. She was gorgeous. She came here right. She could have come on a tourist visa for 90 days, and I could have married her within that 90-day period. But instead, I waited 9 months, used a congressman, Representative Bill Goodling at the time in Pennsylvania. My mom hooked us up. And it took 9 months for us to get the paperwork for a fiancé visa to come over. We did it the right way, ladies and gentlemen. That's doing right from wrong. And by the way, Mexico, I've been to Mexico many times. Some of the areas I've been in Mexico, I would never go again, Juarez being one of them. But Mexico has some of the strictest immigration policies of any country in the world.
Oh yeah, they'll toss your butt right in jail.
Oh, they
but
definitely
I guess
will.
they're the good guys and we're the bad guys somehow.
Yeah, well, everybody
in the upside down world we live in.
It is an upside down world, there's no doubt. Let me move over to the Ninth Circuit here. Ninth Circus, I always talk about it as the Ninth Circus because that's what it is over the years, but we've been seeing a lot of pretty solid rulings coming out from 3-judge panels. AAR Hawkins is reporting that the Ninth Circuit overturned California's one gun per month restriction, which is nice. So the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit issued a mandate yesterday, overturning California's one gun a month restriction. The case is Wynn v. Bonta, and the plaintiffs include who, ladies and gentlemen? Well, the Second Amendment Foundation and Firearms Policy Coalition, 2 dealers, and a San Diego County gun owners pack. And the Second Amendment Foundation noted, and I quote, the one gun a month restriction allows law-abiding citizens to purchase only one handgun or semi-automatic centerfire rifle or combination thereof from a licensed dealer within a 30-day period. The August 14th mandate overturning the restriction follows a June 20th, 2025 Ninth Circuit 3-judge panel decision which affirmed a lower court ruling against the one gun a month restriction. The majority opinion says this: California has a one gun a month law that prohibits most people from buying more than one firearm in a 30-day period. The district court held this law violates the Second Amendment. We affirm. California's law is facially unconstitutional because possession of multiple firearms and the ability to acquire firearms through purchase without meaningful constraints are protected by the Second Amendment, and California's law is not supported by our nation's tradition of firearms regulation. There's the Bruin decision, Paul. Take us to the break. You'll hear the music. But is California fixable? Go ahead.
No, it's not, because here's what's happening right now. Gavin Newsom and his gang of cronies have already decided that they're not going to obey the court, that they're going to ignore it. They're going to file an injunction or whatever. And it's like, look what just happened with the last one. They're like, oh yeah, the court said that you can't force people to show ID and do background checks for ammo. And within 7 days, Newsom and his gang of cronies are like, you know what? We don't care what the courts say. We're going to do whatever we want as long as those scumbags are in charge.
Newsom made it clear he supports the Second Amendment. You sure about that, Paul?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Paul.
Ask him where his pistol is.
Right? He left it behind because he couldn't go through his own process. He doesn't have it. It's a joke. He's a joke. Paul, where can people find you? Give that info out real quick.
Please,
and thank you in advance.
Please go to SOTGU.com, and we've got a special deal for Armed American listeners. Use the promo code AAR when you sign up for any of our distance learning programs, and you save 15%.
Sounds like a plan. Paul Markel, Student of the Gun, Twitter @Student of the Gun, Facebook, Student of the Gun. You can find him. He's everywhere. Paul Markel, the professor. Paul, thanks for being here on a Friday. We appreciate it very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. It's a Friday. Enjoy it. Stay safe. You know how to do that. Carry on, carry often, carry absolutely everywhere. Never, ever, ever leave your cave without your club. Enjoy your day. We'll see you on the Monster Cast on Sunday.
Gotta go.
You just filled your prescription.
And I just realized my mic was not on. So here's the deal. I love you guys. Stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. Grill hard this weekend, okay? And we'll see you on the radio on Sunday. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for being here.